Yes, ma'am. So I think now we are in charging section. What is the number? 4. So I think one by one we discuss it. Every person. Do you know person definition, ma? Person definition we discussed in section 2, subsection 31. So person includes individual, HUF, firm, LLP, company, AOP, BOI, local authority, cooperative society, artificial, judicial person. So next, every person whose total income we have to check. Total income also we discussed. Please let me know, ma. Aggregation of 5 heads of income and clubbing provisions effect and minus set off of losses. Then you will get gross total income. From that gross total income, if we remove the chapter 6A deduction effect, then you will get the net total income, taxable income or net income. So every person total income we computed. Sir, for lifetime we have to compute, for particular previous year. Previous year definition given in which section, ma? Section 3. So nothing but in finance, okay. Previous year means it is in financial year in which we are earning the income. In which you are earning the income. For our examinations, what is the previous year? 25, 26. Okay. Every person, okay, total income of the previous year we computed. If that exceeds the how much amount? Basic exemption limit, then you are called as an SSC. Previously you are in person, now you are in SSC. Previously just a person. If your total income of the particular previous year exceeds the basic exemption limit, now you are in SSC. If you becomes as an SSC, then definitely you are required to pay the income tax by using the rates given in where Finance Act related to assessment year. What is that assessment year, ma? 26-27. 26-27 assessment year related Finance Act for our examinations is Finance Act 2025. In this Finance Act 2025, whatever the rates they given, by using the rates you are required to pay the tax. Now we'll discuss the what is that basic exemption limits for that each and every person. So these are all our persons when they will become as an SSCs. If their total income of the previous year exceeds basic exemption limit. Now our target to learn the what is a basic exemption limit for each and every person. Now you can keep this screen your mind. Then we'll discuss the maximum amount not chargeable to tax. That is only simply we can call it as an basic exemption limit. Now first person, who is that? Individual. First person is nothing but whom? Individual. Now individual we can classify into few points. Individual is non-resident irrespective of age. Non-resident having 40 years, non-resident having 65 years, non-resident having 95, irrespective of age. Non-resident always year only. Next, resident less than how many years? 60 years. Next, non-resident already over. Then resident having more than or equal to 60, less than how many? 80. This fellow is called as what? Senior citizen. Main in exam, they will give you resident SSC having exactly 60 years. That person is senior citizen, remember. Equal to or more than 60, senior citizen only. Exactly today I got 60 years of age, senior citizen. Yes, less than 60, normal. Next, resident individual, non-resident always covered in first category only. Then resident individual having how many years of more? 80 or more. He is an very senior citizen, super senior citizen. My individual classification, okay. Then after who is there? HUF. Next one, ma? Huh? Normally in person definition, if you observe, next we have an what, ma? Firm, LLP. Individual, HUF, firm, LLP. Next one, ma? company. Next one ma AOP BOI. Next one ma local authority. Next one ma cooperative society. Next one ma AJP. All are covered. So that means in person definition, whoever is there, for all persons we need to know the basic exemption limit. Then only we can decide whether he will become as an SSC or still they will remains as an person. Now, sir, for this set, individual having the individual non-resident, resident having less than 60 years, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, and next individual. These are all are one set. But individual only 3 categories will be there. HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP always one. Why? Simply, they have to follow default tax regime 115 BAC. Yes, if they want to follow, they can follow. Otherwise, they can shift from this regime to what ma? Optional rates. Again, I will say, for whom 115 BAC will be applicable? Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. For all of these SSCs, default tax regime will be what? 115 BAC. If they don't want to follow the 115 BAC, they can shift to what? Optional. This is only old regime. Whatever the old rates are there, old rates. Now let me know. In 115 BAC, always basic exemption limit will be 4 lakh. Previously 3 lakh. Now amended, that is how much ma? 4 lakh. Again, I will say one thing to all of you. In 115 BAC, no need to check the residential status, no need to check the age also. Always the same basic exemption limit. How much? 4 lakh. But same SSCs can follow the old rates also, optional rates also. Why it is optional? Because it is default one. If you don't want to follow the default one, this is an optional for you. So that's why in optional tax rates, you have to check the age residential status. For whom we will check the age? Only for the individual you can check the age. The remaining all are artificial entities. Only for individual you can check the age. The remaining all are what? Artificial entities. Now remember, the first category, individual non-resident or resident less than 60 years, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, for all of these, basic exemption limit under optional tax rates is how much? 2,50,000. Next 3 lakh. Next 5 lakh. Because we are giving the privilege to the senior citizen, super senior citizen, but they must be what? Resident. If they are non-resident, always 2,50,000. Now we will ask a question. In which regime we will check residential status and age also, old as well as optional tax rates? In which regime we don't want to check the age and residential status? 115 BAC. In future non-resident chapter we will discuss at the end or middle also. And that time we will get big confusion whether non-resident can claim the 115 BAC. Yes, he can claim. Non-resident can claim 115 BAC. Yes. Maybe you will get a doubt. Why? Sir, 115 BAC means optional, sir. This is a beneficial tax rates for the SSC, sir. So residents only can claim. That is your misconception only. Non-residents also can follow the 115 BAC. The next company, partnership firm, LLP, local authority, cooperative society. My AJP, one example is nothing but cooperative society. In AJP, we have many example: cooperative society, universities, yes, trust, all. Only cooperative societies doesn't have any basic exemption limit. The remaining all AJPs having the basic exemption limit. Okay, any company, partnership firm, LLP, local authority, cooperative society doesn't have any basic exemption limit. Now we understood the basic exemption limit for each and every person. Each and every person. Now, can you read this definition of SSC? You know you know definitely very well. Any person who is required to pay the tax under Income Tax Act 1961, then we can call that person as an SSC. First of all, he must be a person. If his total income of the previous year exceeds the basic exemption limit, then we can call that person as an what? SSC. Understood? Now, that very important discussion. SSC required to pay the tax by using the tax rates given in the Finance Act related to assessment year. Now we'll discuss the tax rates, and if these tax rates are done, our chapter will be also almost done. Okay, na? My door close. Okay. So we want to calculate the tax liability. If you want to calculate the tax liability, we have to add the three components together. What are the three components? You know already very well, but listen for me. First component is nothing but income tax liability. Second component is surcharge. Third component is health and education cess. If I am adding these three components together, finally I will get what? Tax liability. I will get tax liability. Again I am repeating three components. The many are reading this is only the tax liability. No. They will ask income tax liability means only this you have to calculate. If they are asking tax liability, you have to combine the three components. Income tax liability, surcharge, health and education cess. Now, then we can discuss the income tax liability. Whatever incomes we have to classify into two types. I will tell you, salary income, casual income or hard earned income. Hard earned income. Business income, casual income or hard earning income. Hard earning only. So bettings, gamblings, crossword puzzles, lotteries, etc. Casual incomes. Can I tax both the incomes with the same rates? No. So that's why please classify your incomes into normal incomes, special incomes. I will tell you what do you mean by the special incomes after one class. Long term capital gains, short term capital gains, as well as the bettings, gamblings, crossword puzzles, etc. But I will tell you later. But classify your incomes into two types. One is what? Normal income. Another one is what? Special incomes. Normal incomes you can tax by using the old regime also, new regime also. We have two regime. 115 BSc is what? New regime. If you don't want to follow the 115 BSc, you can follow the what? Old regime or optional. You can follow whatever you want for that normal incomes. But for special incomes, always you have to follow the which tax rates? Special tax rates. All together, normal incomes related tax liability you can calculate. Special incomes related tax liability you can calculate. All together you can call it as an income tax liability. All together you can call it as what? Income tax liability. Now, after getting that income tax liability, you have to calculate the one more type of tax. That is not for me, for you only. Okay, surcharge. So, you know already one simple point in your intermediate level itself. Direct tax is always progressive based in nature. Indirect tax is always what? Regressive based. Simply I will tell you. I have an 13 lakh income, suppose example. I will pay the tax. Okay, Reliance Industries also having the crores of incomes. They are also required to pay the tax. Who will pay the more and more tax? Reliance. That means here in income tax, there is a clear differentiation between the rich and the poor. Rich person will require to pay more and more types of taxes. The poor person will pay the less amount of taxes. The progressive based nature means what? In this structure, there is a differentiation between the rich and the poor. Now coming to indirect tax, there is no difference between rich and poor. Example, I will say, if I am purchasing one mobile phone, same GST I will pay, even if that same product is purchased by the Reliance Industries owner also, they will also pay the same GST. Understood? Now one more factor I want to say, in direct taxation there is age factor. Previously we discussed just 1 minute back. If non-resident, one thing, resident 60 less than how much ma? 2 lakh 50. More than or equal to 60, 3 lakh. More than or equal to 80. There is an age factor considered here. Yes. In GST or in indirect taxes, there is no age factor. Even child is purchasing the soap also, she is required to pay the GST. Old age person is paying purchasing the soap also, they are also required to pay the same GST. Remember, very important MCQ in intermediate level, maybe they can ask in final also, we can't do anything. Progressive based means nothing but what ma? There is a clear differentiation between the rich and the poor. Next, regressive based means there is no difference between rich and poor. Now, in direct tax, if you are a rich person, definitely I want to collect the more tax from you. So that's why they are introduced this surcharge concept. In my CI inter first attempt, there is no surcharge concept. First attempt I failed, second attempt they added surcharge. On that time, this is the biggest amendment. Okay. On that time, that is the biggest amendment. Okay, because of surcharge also, there is a marginal relief concept. Okay, because of surcharge, there is a marginal relief concept. That is also amendment on that time. Okay, remember, surcharge is for whom? Rich people. So, who will be rich, sir, here? We'll discuss separately. Now, surcharge means, simply you can remember, it is called as what? Tax on tax. It is not charge, surcharge. So, once again we want to charge the tax. Okay, so example, random, we calculated the income tax liability, 1 lakh we got. How much we got? 1 lakh. I'm not saying income. On income we calculated tax, roughly how much we got? 1 lakh. On that, please apply the surcharge rate. We have to calculate tax on what? Tax. Suppose surcharge rate is 10%. What is the surcharge amount? 10,000. Remember, surcharge rate always we have to apply on what? Income tax liability. These income tax rates we have to apply on what? Incomes. Now, after calculating the surcharge, we have to calculate the health and education cess. Sir, these two types of taxes are collecting. Then in order to provide the health and education in our Indian economy, we are required to collect this some more additional tax in the form of income tax only. What is it? Yes. Altogether, these two, how much ma? 1,10,000 on that 4%. Income tax plus surcharge into what? 4%. Okay, can you tell me how much ma? 4,400. Yesterday only in Intercash I calculated, I remember. Now, totally how much ma? 14,400. So, this is only your tax liability finally. This is only your tax liability finally. Sir, I am not discussing any tax rates, just I am giving the structure of calculating the tax liability. If you remember this, no one can do the mistakes in a silly way. Many are applying the surcharge rate on the total income. That is wrong. You have to apply surcharge on what ma? Income tax liability. You have to calculate 4% on what ma? Income tax plus surcharge. Surcharge for all, only for rich people? Only for rich people. Shall we? Now, in person definition, whoever is there are okay. Who having the total income above the basic exemption limit, they are required to pay the tax, right? Now, we'll discuss the tax rates for each and every person. First, we'll discuss the one set. What is the set ma? Please check and tell me. Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Now tell me. Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Why we are discussing as an set? Why we are discussing as an set? Simply, these are all persons required to follow default tax rate 115 BSE. Otherwise, they have to follow optional rates. Understood? Hura? Individual, HF, please check. Individual, HF, AOP, BOI, AJP. They have to follow what ma? 115 BSc. Otherwise, they have to follow optional. They have a same basic exemption limits also. That's why first we'll discuss tax rates for these persons. Then after we can go to this. Understood? Many students having the doubt why we are discussing as a combined, sir. Because they have a same basic exemption limit in 115 BSc. Next also they have a basic exemption limits. No. Shall we run? No. What is the default tax regime? Listen, what is the default tax regime? 115 BAC subsection 1 capital A. In exam they can give 115 BAC. 115 BAC capital A if they given also same. Next, this is only called as what ma? Default tax. Can you tell me how it is called as a default tax regime? Any idea? Why it is called as a default? Any idea? Sorry. I will ask her. If you are open the income tax website, okay, e-filing website, if you are filing ITR 1 or any other ITR form for an individual HF, AOP, BOI, AJP, you can fill all the details about heads of income and your chapter 6A reductions also. Finally, net total income. After finalizing the net total income, software will calculate tax liability directly, or we need to calculate. Automatically software will give the tax computation including cess and rebate and all the things also. Which tax rates that software taken defaultly? Default tax regime. That's why it is a default tax regime. Defaultly software will take this because public at large will follow most of the cases 115 BSc only. After rebate concept you can understood why this is a default also. Because most of the SSEs of an individual HF, AOP, BOI, AJP wants to follow this one. Because the most of the SSEs will follow this because of rebate concept also. Yes, next newly introduced one, sir. That's why 3 names, any name they can give in an exam. 115 BSc subsection 1A or 115 BSc default or new. Next. In this regime, no need to check DS, no need to check residential status. Always same basic exemption limit. How much? 4 lakh. Now, I am talking about the income tax rates now. I am talking about the income tax rates now, not surcharge rates, just income tax liability related rates only. Now I am discussing with the lekka. Yes, sir. Every time 4 lakh we can increase the slab. First 0 to 4 lakh. Next one ma 4 to 8 lakh. Next 8 to 12 lakh. 12 to 16 to 20 to above 24. Above 24. You have to remember above 24. Till 24 only we can increase every 4 lakh. First basic exemption limit how much ma? 4 lakh. That's why up to basic exemption limit no need to pay the tax. Next what is that? 5%. Increase the 5% slab. Last what? 30%. Understood? Yes, these are the only that 115 BSc rates is useful for your upcoming exams. June as well as December. Okay. Whatever attempt you can going to write, yes, this is only the rates you have to follow. Next, sir. I calculated the income tax liability, sir. Now I want to calculate the surcharge. You know already after calculating income tax liability, next one is what? Surcharge. So now we will discuss the surcharge. Surcharge rates for the who and whom? Individual, HF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Income tax liability done under 115 BSc. Then we have to calculate what ma? Surcharge. Now, I will give you two AOPs example. One AOP consisting as an in association of person who can become the members. Any person can become the member. One company, second also company, third also company. In another AOP, one partnership form is a member. Yes, sir. One company, one individual. These two different AOPs are there. Now here I am excluding the one AOP from this. I am discussing the surcharge for this, but other than Rizandra, AOP consisting companies only as an members. That means now I am excluding this AOP from this discussion. What is that AOP I am excluding, ma? If AOP consisting only companies as an members, I am not discussing the surcharge rates for this. I am discussing only surcharge rates for other AOPs. Sir, how sir? Separately we can discuss, no problem. If companies only consisting as an members in the AOP, separately will discuss the surcharge rates for them. Understood? Which AOP we excluded, ma? In any AOP, companies only become as a member. In this AOP, who are the members, sir? Company 1, company 2, company 3. That AOP we are excluding here. Separately, I will discuss surcharge rates for that AOPs. The remaining AOPs, yes, this is only surcharge rates. Now, tell me now, understood first of all which type of AOP excluded here? If AOP consisting only companies as a members. Here only companies are the members. So that AOP we are excluded from this here and will discuss separately surcharge rates. Tax rates is same. Income tax rates is same. While discussing the surcharge only, we excluded this type of AOP from here. What is the AOP we excluded? Company. Reason, companies already having surcharges. So that's why again if AOP also having that huge surcharge, that is effect. So that's why they excluded. Now remember, surcharge whether it is applicable or not applicable is depends upon what ma rich or poor. Okay, how you can decide whether the SSE is rich and poor? Total income. If your total income is more than rich, otherwise poor. But as per Income Tax Act 1961, individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, if they have a total income, how much ma? Less than or equal to 50 lakh. Poor only, that's why no surcharge. Okay. Exactly I have an 50 lakh, no need to pay surcharge. I am an individual, I have only 50 lakh, no need to pay surcharge. 50 lakh to 1 crore. Yes, what is the rate? 10%. 10% on what? Income tax. Surcharge always applied on income tax. Now your income will be 1 to 2 crore. What is that percentage? 15% of income tax. More than 2 crores. Exactly I have 4 crores total income. Now what is the rate? Directly I will apply 25. Maximum surcharge rate in case of SSC following 115 BSc. What is the maximum surcharge rate? 25%. Individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Other than AOP consisting only companies as a members. If they are following 115 BSc, what is the maximum surcharge rates? 25%. Remember, this percentages required to be applied on income tax. In last attempt, one student after exam, not after exam also, after 1 month after exam, she said, sir, in every question they asked income tax tax liability, sir. I just calculated income tax liability, sir. I forgot to add the surcharge and health and education, says, do I get full marks? Oh, you will get full marks. They are asking tax liability. You have to calculate these 3 components all together. You have to show. If you calculated only income tax liability, how they will allocate the marks? Unfortunately, she qualified both groups. Right? Okay. Unfortunately, she qualified both groups. But remember, don't do these silly mistakes in that exam. Maybe she presented remaining questions very well, or in other subjects also she presented very well. Maybe okay, she both groups qualified. But now you can't do that type of mistakes in your exam. Our luck you know already. So that's why don't compare with any others. Okay, even though we written very well also, we will get 39 or 59 only. So that's why please remember. Now, sir. Individual HF, AOP, BOA, AJP, 115 BAC, default tax regime, new regime already we discussed, including surcharge rates also. But I don't want to follow this, sir. Yes, no problem. In one section, what is the section? Please read 115 BAC subsection 6. 115 BAC subsection 6 is given an option to. Is given an option to. Yes, shift out or opt out from the default tax regime. That is what ma 115 BAC subsection 1A. Simple one option given in this section. If I am opting this section, or if I want to opt this section, means nothing but you are opting out from this and you are selecting this. In exam they can give anyway. SSC opted 115 BAC subsection 1A means nothing but which regime? Default tax regime. SSC opted out from 115 BAC subsection 1A. That means you are opting which regime? Normal tax, old, or what? Optional. Please read normal tax, old, or what? Optional. Any name also they can give in exam. And one more section you have to remember, 115 BAC subsection 6. In this section only one subsection given. If an SSC doesn't want to follow this regime, no problem. He can exercise one option. He can shift from the default to what? Normal. In this, what are that income tax rates? First we'll discuss. You know already one set, yes sir, first set, individual non-resident always, resident less than 60 years. Next one ma, HUF, next one ma, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. For this set, what is the basic exemption limit ma? 2.5 lakh. Next slab, remember 5 lakh. 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh. 5 lakh to 10 lakh. Above 10 lakh. First nil, next what ma 5%, next 10%, sorry 20%, next one ma 30%. Simply this set. Next set is what? Ma all are covered here. Individual, sorry, HUF, AOP, BOA covered here only. Based on age and residential status, one more classification is there. Resident individual having 60 or more, less than 80. What is the basic exemption limit ma? 3 lakh. Next slab 5 lakh. Next slab 10 lakh. Next slab above 10 lakh. What is the rate? Nil, 5, 20, 30. Just I will observe one thing. Up to 5 lakh, there is an, what is that ma? 5% slab. Okay, 5 lakh up to maximum, what is the slab rate we charge? 5%. That means, okay, basic exemption limit is there. After basic exemption limit, within 5 lakh slab, what is the maximum rate we levied? 5%. Okay, next resident individual having the more than or equal to 80 years, nothing but yes sir, in classroom whoever sleeping, that will be in this category only. Very senior citizen or super senior citizen. What is the basic exemption limit ma? 5 lakh. Ma, previously up to 5 lakh we are charging 5%, but here 5 lakh itself basically exempt. So that's why there is no 5% slab here. Directly what ma? 20% slab. 5 to 10 lakh. What is that? 20% slab. Above 10 lakh, 30%. Many students are incorporating the 5% slab here. There is no 5% slab here. Very senior citizen, super senior citizen, there is no chance to levy the 5% slab. Understood? This is only the point you have to remember. Next, surcharge rates here different in both the regimes. Surcharge rates are different. Now I will underline the surcharge rates for whom individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. One AOP we can exclude. Hoorah! AOP consisting only companies as a members we can exclude from here. We'll discuss separately. Now, how to recognize whether we are going to levy the surcharge, whether we are in rich or poor. How to decide? Total income. Same. Total income of an individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP is less than or equal to 50 lakh. No surcharge required to pay. 150 to 1 crore, 1 to 2 crore, 2 to 5 crore, more than 5 crore. What is that, ma? 10% of income tax, 15% of income tax, 25% of income tax. Maximum how much, ma? 37. The main point you have to remember, under 115 BSc regime, what is the maximum surcharge rate? 25% if the total income exceeds 2 crore. Exceeds, not equal to. Yes, under normal regime or optional regime or old regime, for individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, what is the maximum surcharge rate? If 5 crores exceeded their total income, what is that? 37%. We excluded one type of AOP, right? What is that one type of AOP? AOP consisting only companies as a members. AOP consisting only companies as a members. For them we can decide. Simple. Whether they are rich or poor will decide by using total income. Total income is less than or equal to 50 lakh. No surcharge. 50 lakh to 1 crore. 10% of what, ma? Income tax. More than 1 crore. Always how much? 15%. That means if AOP consisting companies as a members, what is the maximum surcharge rate? 15%. Understood? Maximum we can go up to 25 or 37. But here already companies are becomes the members, means companies also in their individual capacity they will pay tax and surcharge. Again AOP is paying more and more surcharge. That is not correct. That's why we are restricting with the 15% only. Understood up to now? As of now we discussed surcharge rates also, income tax rates also for an individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Done? Now, in person definition, after completion of this individual HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, both the regimes related we discussed, including surcharge rates also. My health and education says, you know, very easy. 4% of what, ma? Income tax plus. Next we'll discuss the partnership form LLP related rates. Partnership form LLP and I will discuss local authority also, one and the same rates. So that's why combinedly we'll discuss partnership form LLP, local authority. Shall I? Partnership form LLP, local authority. Now we can start. Sir, can you please take CMA final DT English class? I know only one language. I don't know that language also in fluent manner. Telugu. English I am trying to communicate. Still also I am trying to communicate only. English I understood also little bit. I don't know how to talk in English. Okay. Hindi also I don't know. Just one language I know perfectly, Telugu. The remaining languages I am trying to learn. In future with your blessings I can do that also. Now next. Next ma. Can you tell me which of the SSE is having the basic exemption limit, ma? Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP, they have in basic exemption limit. That's why they are required to pay the tax by using which rates, ma? Slab rates. At the time of every slab increases, the tax rate also we are increasing. Yes, 115 BSc, if you remember, 4 lakh income increases in every slab, tax rate also increases what? 5%. Above 24 lakh, what is the rate? 30%. Now, no basic exemption limit. Can you tell me example, ma? Partnership firm, company, LLP, local authority, cooperative society. So that's why they are required to follow which rates are flat rates. Flat means if they have an income, directly you can apply that rate. So like that, the form including LLP and the local authority. Can you tell me what do you mean by the local authority? Ray, already I discussed in the last session. Please tell me. Municipality, panchayat, corporations. So nothing but this is that local self-governments less than what ma? State government. Local self-government less than the state government. So they are also required to pay the tax if they have an income. Now, what is that income tax rate? 30%. Just flat 30% only. Surcharge rate, how we can decide whether they are required to pay the surcharge? If their total income more than 1 crore, start paying of surcharge. Then you are rich person. When if total income more than, but individual HF, AOP, BOI, AJP class more than how much ma? 50 lakh. 1 crore to 10 crore, more than 10 crore also same surcharge rate. Sir, instead of this nonsense, you can write more than 1 crore always 12%. But I want to correlate these discussions with the next discussion. Yes, 1 crore, 10 crore. Yes, ma, 1 crore, 10 crore. So that's why I want to go in the same way. But here, don't do overaction. In two places, 12%. Many are sending to me and asking, sir, here can I write the 15%? Many are sending this, sir. I think it is a mistake from your side. First student's mindset, okay, if he written anything, already verified by the 100 plus students in class. Okay, maybe one batch, two batch, 200 students are already verified. Okay, faculty doesn't have any mind, but students already they know where they verified. And in online, many students are already listen in live only. They will also verify. At last, that is 1 month before exam, you open the book and you are arguing about the content in that book. Okay, simply what is that? Always 12%. Don't remember any other. In case of partnership firm, LLP, local authority, what is the surcharge rate? Always 12%. Next. Now we'll start the discussion related to domestic company. Sir, in Income Tax Act 1961, companies means only two companies, domestic, foreign. Public company, private company, I think within 2 days, sir will take the class and he will tell you that kinds of companies, whatever you have an intermediate level or CAinter, all the things he will teach. That is final syllabus also, but we don't have that many classifications. Only we have in two classification, domestic company, foreign company. Now we'll talk about the domestic company. Domestic company also have two regimes. Here one doubt you will get, sir. Individual HF, AOP, BOI, AJP, you given the two regimes, sir. How many regimes I given? Two. For domestic company also now I am given the two regimes. Then what about the partnership form? LLP, local authority. Only one regime is there in Act. Only one regime is there in Act. Yes. Now domestic company, normal tax rates. Maybe, sir, one regime is there in our Act. Many are asking, sir, not in our syllabus, sir. Practically is there a Nora. Practically also they have only one regime. In Act there isn't one regime, not in our syllabus. Okay. Next. What is it? Normal tax regime, old regime. Normal or old, that is an last Income Tax Act 1961 came into force on 1/4/1962. On that time onwards this regime is there. Newly they introduced what regime? Optional tax regime. That means if you don't want to follow this, then you can opting this. Which one is default one? Normal or old is default. Normal or old is default in case of domestic company. Remember, here magic is there. For domestic company, now I want to know the income tax rates. For which year we want to find out the tax liability? Previous year 25-26, assessment year 26-27. That means nothing but income earning year is 25-26. In which year you are required to pay the tax? 26-27. For this year I want to know the tax liability. But previous year 23-24 turnover or gross receipts, please check. Whatever the domestic company is there, now we want to check the tax rate. For checking the tax rate, which year turnover we want to know as a reference? 23-24. Okay. Sir, why we are not taking this year, sir? Why we are taking old years? Simply, how you will know the turnover of this year? This year is not at all completed. How you will know the turnover? Audit done? No. The last year audit also may be pending. That's why prior year they are taking. So 24-25 also we can't rely. 23-24 everything will be ready. Audit also done. Audit report also done. Shareholders approval also done in board meetings. That's why this is only the most authenticated year. Yes, that's why we are going to take that year as a reference. So present year, books of accounts itself not closed. How we can know about the turnover? The prior year audit may be pending. Shareholders approval also not taken. Easily we can manipulate these 2 years turnovers. But these are already authenticated by auditor and shareholders also. Board approval also done and shareholders meeting also done. So that's why we can't change this figure. That's why this year only we have to take it as a reference. Can I take whatever year you want? Can you take whatever year you want? No. Only 23-24. If that does not exceed 400 crores, what is that rate? 25%. What is the rate? 25%. 400 crores does not exceed means that is a normally small companies, just a small company. That's why 25. Exceeds 400 crores. That is the biggest company. That's why what? 30%. Understood? Main okay, you understood, I know, but this is crores, not lakhs. Please don't ask multiple times. Crores, not lakhs. You can simply listen. Whatever that experience I have, the simply I can say here there is no 5% slab. And here every time 4 lakh increases, slab rate increases. Up to 5%, up to 5 lakh 5%. And next maximum surcharge rate here I am given in an highlighted way. Here also local authority point. And next this is 12%. Here I am discussing why we are going to take. These are all our students' doubts only. Maybe in future also you will get this type of doubts, silly also or anything also. Okay. Whatever the students' doubts are there, previously I will note it down all the things in an on one Excel sheet, etc. Now I don't want to record because always I will remember whatever the doubts they will ask, because every page of the material, every page of the notes also I remember by heart simply. Okay. Simply I know everything. That's why I don't want to record. Previously first batch and second batch I will record everything, whatever the doubts they are going to ask. If I am explaining the same thing in the classroom, automatically the feedback will improve. On that time I felt that. So that's why I implemented. But now I don't want to follow that because I remembered everything. Now surcharge rates. Please tell me surcharge rates for domestic company. Total income exceeds how much? 1 crore to 10 crore. More than 10 crore. 7% as well as what? 12%. Okay, simple. My total income is 7 crores. What is the surcharge? 7%. 12 crores. 12%. Here also students are doing mistake. Here we have to check the turnover or gross receipts. Here we have to check the total income. And these two things are different. Total income is different, turnover or gross receipts is different. For knowing the tax rates, we are taking the reference of turnover or gross receipts. For knowing the surcharge, total income. Understood? Now, next. Sir, I don't want to follow this all the rates, sir. Can I follow the optional? Yes. 3 optional tax rates are there for the domestic companies. How many? 3. What are the 3? Any idea? 115 BA. 115 BA, old regime, removed already from our syllabus, but continuing in our CMA study material, that's why I given. 115 BAA, 115 BAB. And if you observe that, in one series, these are all the sections are there. BA, BAA, BAB. Next one, BAC. Already we discussed 115 BAC for individual. Okay, now we'll discuss. First, I will discuss the last one, domestic manufacturing company. First of all, it must be domestic. And if it is a manufacturing company, upon the satisfaction of two conditions. First condition, set up and registered on or after, set up and registered on or after, what date? 1/10/2019. Set up and registered on or after. That means you have to take the permissions and set up also done on or after the date. Commencement of business on or before this date. Before this, what date? 31st March 2024. If these two conditions are cumulatively satisfied, that domestic manufacturing company, no need to pay 25, no need to pay 30 also, just what? 15% is enough. Income tax, how much is enough? No need to pay 25, no need to pay 30, just 15% is enough. Next, surcharge is fixed. No need to know the no need to know the total income as well as rates. Fixed surcharge, how much? 10%. And health and education says 4%. And add together and tell me whether it matched the 17.16. I think we haven't 29, but I written wrongly. Sorry, please rectify it. Effective tax rate, 15% is income tax. On that we have to calculate what? Surcharge. On both the things we have to calculate what? Health and education says. This is called as effective tax rate computation. Please take the calculator. 15 plus 10% plus 4%. How much you will get? 17.16. Directly you have to remember this for that MCQ purpose. Understood? Now, other domestic companies, sir. Sir, other than manufacturing, any domestic company is there, they can follow the, yes sir, instead of 15, 22 is enough, and surcharge fixed 10% and 4%, health and education says altogether how much? 22 plus 10% plus 4%, altogether how much? 25.168%. Understood? 25.168. Amma, first they given this, then after they given, yes, these two. Now these two only in implementation, this is removed, but earlier we have this one, 115 BA. What is the rate? Okay, we haven't 25, 30, out of 25 only they given. 7 or 12 also depends upon total income. There is no fixed percentage like in these two sections. This 7 or 12 also depending upon what? Total income. Next what? 4%. But remember this also, because study material still continuing this section. Practically, yes, all the SSCs are now going with these two only. Done, now, domestic company also having the two regimes. One is a normal or old, another one is an optional. What are the optional section numbers? 115 BA, BAA, BAB. Next, foreign company. Next, what is that company? Foreign company. Foreign company, remember, this definitely you don't know. If any foreign company is receiving the yes sir, Indian company or Indian government, simply foreign company is giving the some services. With respect to the services, that foreign company is receiving the royalty as well as fees for technical services, from the Indian company or Indian government. We given the services to this Indian company or Indian government. Next, not Indian company, concern. Concern means entity. Not only company. Here one example we taken, or we can change it. Concern. Concern means what ma? Entity. Now, this income in the hands of foreign company is taxed at the rate of what ma? 50%. But one point, agreement for the royalty, agreement for the fees for technical services, definitely in between these two person there must be an agreement. Yes, we are required to provide the services, we are required to receive the royalty and fees for technical service. That agreement date you have to remember. Agreement date is latest or already over? Already over. Starting date 1/4/1961 to 31st March 1976 for royalty. For FTS, what is that? 1/3/1964 to 31st March 1976. End date is same, starting date is changed. But remember, what is that? 50%. In special case, what is that? Company tax rate on this? 50%. In remaining other cases, what is that? 35. I think in your intermediate level, maybe you referred it as an 40, but amended in the last year, not in this. Yes, Finance Act 2024 amendment, what is that? 35%. Earlier amendment, not now. Next, surcharge rate, total income 1 crore to 10 crore, more than 10 crore, what is that? 2%, under 5%. Now you have a doubt, sir. Domestic company only 712, sir. But foreign company is very less, sir. But tax rate here 25-30. Here what? Tax rates already we levied more and more. That's why surcharge rates are less for the foreign company. Maybe you can confuse. Less rates for domestic company, 25 for domestic company, 712 for foreign company. You can exchange easily. Remember, less surcharge rates for which company? Foreign company, because we are already collected more and more income tax. Understood? Next, as of now we discussed tax rates for individual HF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Two regimes we discussed. Next we discussed about the partnership firm, local authority, LLP. Only one regime. Domestic company we discussed both the regimes. Foreign company we discussed only one regime is there, that we discussed. Next, last we have an cooperative society. Last we'll discuss cooperative society. Within 5 minutes I will give a break. Don't think about the break timing also. I will give break. Just listen only for 2 to 3 minutes enough. Already we know one thing. If there is a basic exemption limit, we have in which rates? Slab rates. Super. No basic exemption limit. Flat rates, right? But for this rule, cooperative society is an exception. Cooperative society doesn't have any basic exemption limit, right? We discussed in the starting of the session, cooperative society doesn't have any basic exemption limit, but they are required to follow slab rates only still now. But they are required to follow what? Slab rates only still now. Yes, here also both the regimes are there. The first one normal tax rate, then after what? Optional. Normal, optional. Income tax rates now I will discuss. What is that? Income tax rate. Already I told, cooperative society is formed on self-help basis. They don't want to achieve the more and more profits. If they have a minimum profits also, if they have the minimum profits also, they are required to pay the what? Tax. So that's why we are taking the 10,000, 20,000, about 20,000, because they have an objective of minimum profits earning. So 10,000 up to 10,000, there is no basic exemption limit. That's why 10%. Even if you have 100 rupees also, you have to pay the tax at the rate of 10%. Because there is no basic exemption limit for cooperative society. That's why up to 10,000, 10%, 10,000 to 20,000, 20%, above 20,000, what? 30%. Surcharge, same like in domestic company. Please verify and tell me. Same like domestic company. cooperative society, if they are following the normal tax rates, surcharge rates are same like a domestic company. In the same way, they given the 115 BA over BAA over BAB over for domestic company, BAC for individual, HF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Now we have to start the BAD, BAE in the same line with the domestic company. Yes, first we will discuss BAE, Resident Manufacturing Cooperative Society. Previously we discussed domestic manufacturing company. Here resident manufacturing company. After satisfaction of two conditions, set up and registered in 2023 and 2024. 23-24 year commencement can be also started. That means set up on or after this year starting date and commencement on or before this year ending date 23-24. The same 115 BAB rates, BAB rates 15, 10, 4. Altogether what ma 17.16. Next, any other, it is an same as it is like an section 115 BAA rates, that is what 22 10 plus 4, that is an 25.168. Now 115 BA, BAA, BAB for which companies? Domestic companies. BAC for whom? Individual, HF, AOP, BOI, AJP. BAD, BAE for whom? BAD and BAE for whom? Not for cooperative, resident cooperative societies. Now, please tell me, out of SSEs, which of the SSEs having the two regimes and what are the two regimes? Individual, HF, AOP, BOI, AJP having the two regimes. Default one is 115 BSE, optional one is an old. Domestic company, default one is a normal tax rate, optional one is a 115 BA, BAA, BAB. Next, resident cooperative society, normal is default one, optional is 115 BAD, BAE. So foreign company, one regime. Partnership form, LLP, local authority, one regime. Understood? Yes. Take a break. Tomorrow we can continue.